Hello, ladies and gents! Ready for some more platoon action? Then how about a 3-man CDC platoon, erasing the enemy team in stylish fashion with those deadly but extremely fragile metal beasts without having to fire a single round of premium ammunition? Sounds good? I thought so as well. Check this out. Alright, so here we are in our 3-man CDC platoon, this time around in an assault match on Erlenberg. Now I have to say, this is pretty much perfect matchmaking for these guys. They are one of the few T-rates in the match. Basically, about a third of the teams are T-rates and the rest are mostly Tier 7s. So this is about as good as it gets, really. Now at the same time, as they represent most of their top tier machines, they also have quite a bit of responsibility on their shoulders to carry the team to victory. They won't disappoint though, oh no. Now, it has to be said though, they might have a really good position here and they might be one of the most dangerous and the highest DPM machines on the battlefield, but they are also one of the most fragile ones. Even that Tier 6 VK could rip them apart. Pretty much everything on the enemy team is guaranteed to penetrate if they hit, and both artillery, the Tier 6 Hummel and the Tier 7 M12, will basically rebalance them in a single shot if they get lucky. Now this will be pretty much action-packed, but let's stop for a second and let's see how not to play the CDC. The first machine spotted on the enemy team is actually the most fragile one, and that guy just lost about 80–90% of its health in a couple of seconds. Yep, that's definitely not something you want to do. But let's see what's on the menu. Oh, look at that! A Tiger 1, a T-29 and an Oni, 3 Tier 7 heavy tanks. Dinner has been served. Now CDC makes another foolish mistake and that already cost him his life. And remember, that guy had the same awesome matchmaking as we do. But let's not worry about the CDC, he's already history. Let's see what we can do in the meantime. Now you also see our teammate Henka 8 on the other side, pumping a couple of rounds into that VK, and we will have a look at him in a second. But in the meantime, we are rather busy ripping these heavy tanks apart. The 2 CDCs can pump out quite a bit of firepower. Now these things have a base reload of over 8.5 rounds, and you can pump that up quite nicely with some crew skills and equipment. And you have 2 of these things shooting at those very unfortunate heavies. A lucky miss there from the T-29. It's not the most accurate of heavy tanks, you have to say, unlike the CDC, which has a 0.33 meters base dispersion. And yeah, those heavy tanks have been mostly ripped apart already, so now it's time to move in. Now here is something that you don't want to do. Rush in as the first tank, taking all of those shots as the Su-122-44 did. If you can't take the heat, don't go in the kitchen. We were in the second line already though, nicely going under the gun line of that Jagdpanther who did shoot us before. And now we can casually take apart this T-25 too. Just one more shot, and the enemies have already lost 6 tanks. Very nice indeed. Now there should be a Jagdpanther here. I don't think he was able to run away. And indeed, there he is. And this is something that you did see before with the T-29 as well. The first shot is a tracking shot. And that's so important when you want to get a lot of experience out of your games. Because you see, we did get 1, maybe 2 shots in. This way though, we also scooped up all the juicy assistant damage. And have a look at that, we are already on over 2000 of it. Very nice. And with that flank secured, let's see what our teammate Henka 8 has been up to on the other side of the ridge. Alright, so here we go. We did see him previously put a couple of shots into that very unfortunate VK, and now he is also starting to pummel the T-25-2. 2 machines which did actually manage to put in some return fire as well, so now it's time to take our revenge. Now Moimoit Finn is just about to take out the T-25-2 and we can finish off casually the VK-3001P. We are not stopping, however. We want to get into a position to get a few shots into that Yak Panther over on the corner. Remember, we just did put in our tracking shot and NK8 is just capitalizing on it, taking the Yak Panther out, getting 2 quick kills, rapid succession. What does that? That's a very lovely bonus destruction on the M12 artillery. So, after those 3 very quick kills there on the other side, let's get back to Moimoit Finn, see what he's up to. Now the Kanavan was spotted there in the middle and we did break down that house trying to get some shots in. The second shot might have gone in, we didn't see it splash on the ground, but the third one did definitely not, so yep, the Kanavan did pull back in the meantime into cover. So let's keep plowing down, let's see what kind of opportunity shots we will have on the way. But wow, Kanavan is completely out of position, gets smacked by probably artillery, so that means we can take the killing blow. Wow, the enemy team is melting super fast here. Luckily we are in a CDC, otherwise we might not be able to just basically keep up with the pace of this match. IS-3 and STA-2 both spotted. That was probably the first miss that we actually made. Now let's get our ass into cover so the Tiger P can't shoot us, and then we can continue to work on both of these guys. Wow, so many targets, so much damage to farm. Nice shot there into the Patriot. And here we have one more shot. We have to get a little bit more into position. Oh, the Tiger P. Such a little annoyance. Let's dig a bit in. But let's switch sides again. Now it's back to these 2 guys who have been taking out the IS-3 in the meantime, and now it's time to secure the last 2 kills, a very low health STA-2 and a very unfortunate looking Patriot. And well, that was it for the enemy team, and they sure were tasty. Now that's how you play the CDC. Avoid being at the center of attention, but always be in a position where you can actually keep that gun firing. The results speak for themselves really. Ace Tanker, crucial contribution, Confederate, high caliber, tank sniper, top gun, not bad at all. Now looking at the team results, I think it's fairly safe to say that the platoon did very well for themselves. Apart from securing 12 out of the 15 kills between them, they also racked up a whopping 9,800 damage between them, with our hero also closing in on that magical 2000 base experience mark by himself. As for the details for him, in these just over 6 minutes he fired his gun 27 times, hitting and penetrating 24 of them without firing a single round of APCR ammunition. By the way, if you were wondering how he got this much experience, that's actually due to the additional 3600 assistance damage through spotting and tracking the enemy. As we mentioned already, do not underestimate the importance of those tracking shots. Alright, this was then our fast and furious CDC madness, courtesy of Moimoit Finn. Many thanks once again for sending in this replay, man, and congratulations to a very nice and very enjoyable game played. I hope you guys had also fun watching it, and if you did, thanks a lot for considering giving this a like or sharing it. Now next up we will close the week with another dose of high explosive RNG coming right up tomorrow, and then over the weekend we have some really cool gameplay to watch, courtesy of an FCM50T and a Grill 15. Now both of these replays did actually qualify for the Epic series as well, so you can expect some pretty cool results. As for myself, however, let me already wish you a short Friday and a great weekend ahead. Thanks a lot for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again in one of the next videos.